Okay, this is the starting point. At this point, you have imported the video tracks from the project folder. You have dropped in the dry desert image, and you have added 13 other video tracks. So now we can start to build this scene. So the first thing we're going to do is to move this dry desert image up to video track 5. So the program is a little bit clunky in doing this. It helps if you give yourself a little bit more space down here. Let's put that on video track 5. And what we'll do is now add some filters to this. What we want to do is to get rid of that sky. We want to get rid of these black bands. We want to apply some color grading effects to make it start to look a little bit more post-apocalyptic. So, having the track selected, click Filters, Add, and what you can do is either click on Video here and search for the filter, or after you've started to use the same filters quite a few times, you can click the star beside it and it will add it to this Favorites tab, and that makes it a lot easier to find. So the first thing we're going to do is to add the size, position, and rotate filter, and we're going to be adding that filter to every video track. So having added it to this one, we can just, first of all, simply move it down so that we get rid of that black bar at the bottom. The next filter that we're going to apply is the crop filter. So I don't have that in my favorites tab. So do a search, crop, there's a few different ones there. We're going to do this one, crop rectangle. So select that one. And what this allows you to do is to just move this rectangle on the screen and it will cut out anything that is outside the rectangle. So we're going to move it all the way down to the horizon. We can go back and fix it up if we need to, but we've just cropped out the sky. Now with this one, it is important that we just pull this down a little bit here and we click transparent because we want the background to be able to be seen through. So make sure you click transparent for that. We're going to add another filter, click filters, add, and in my favorites, I have color grading. So what we're going to do to try to make this scene look a little bit post-apocalyptic is simply shift the colors a little bit more towards the yellow and orange, like we saw in the Mad Max opening scene. That seems to suit the post-apocalyptic world. So midtones seems to be the one that we need to just move. If we start to move that more towards reddish, orange, you find something that you think looks pretty good. Roundabouts there. And what you can do is scroll down. You can see some values here, and you can use those values or roundabouts those values to apply to every other video track that we also put into this project. So instead of having to guess every time where the dot should go, you can simply just type in -33, -31, and it should give you around about the same color effect. Okay, so that's our main foreground element. We're going to be putting other things in front of that as well, but it's a good idea to start with your main foreground element. Now we're going to put in the main background element, and this will go onto video track 1 because it will be at the very back of the stack of images. So the very back video is the clouds. So here we have a time-lapse of some storm clouds billowing up. We don't need all of it, so we're going to get to a point where it starts to look a little bit stormy, and we'll just cut it from that point there. It's also got an audio track with it. We don't need the audio, so you right-click it, More, Detach Audio, and then straight away what we can do, select that audio track, delete it. We're going to be putting in audio a little bit later on. So here we can see already on the player preview, there's a little bit of a gap here, so we'll have to go back and move that foreground element a little bit. But I think for now what we'll do is we'll cut this one around about there. So we split it, get rid of that first part, move it back to the start of the timeline. Okay, now it's too far down. So what we need to do is now apply some filters. Click Filters, make sure that that track is selected. Click Filters, Add, and we are going to, first of all, change the position of it. So we're going to move it up. Now there's a bit of a city in this video. It's okay to keep a little bit of that because that'll actually help to hide the image a little bit, blur the background and foreground together. So around about there will be fine. And as we scroll through, we should see a nice time lapse of a storm building up. We only need, like I said before, about 45 seconds of this. So we might try to get the best part of it. I don't know. We'll try around about there. We can always go back and change it later on. So we might just split that a little bit more. Split, delete, move it along. Okay, so what we can do, and also at the end, the video track goes onto the title. So we'll just split the end off. So it goes a little bit overcast. So we'll split it just before that title comes up as well to make that video nice and clean. Now I said we needed about 45 seconds or so it looks like we've trimmed off a little bit too much at the start. So let's just move that along, and then we can just grab the beginning of that and undo the editing that we did before. Okay, so now what we have is this storm billowing in the background, the foreground element there. I'm going to now apply also to this one the color grading effect. Favorites, color grading, and do the same thing. Start to shift it more towards that orangey sort of a look. That's fine. We can also fiddle around with the different light. Just fiddle around until you get something that looks alright. Yellowish sort of a hue. Change the shadows. That'll be fine. Okay, so we can always go back and fix up all these little things that now we see when we start to put video tracks together. So what we might do is go back to that dry desert video, and we just need to adjust where it's being cropped just to get that nice line there. Okay.